Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's been quite some time since I posted a video, a couple of weeks now. Been really busy with some things, but you know, here we are today, and we're going to be taking a flight. Alright, and right now I am in Ocean Reef Club, Key Largo, and I'm going to be flying this Britten-Norman Trislander east over to Cat Cay, Bahamas. So I think it's going to be a really nice flight, and it's just after sunrise here, and weather looks pretty out here. You can see just got some clouds, and we'll see how it goes as I start flying further east. And it's a 66 nautical mile flight east of where I'm at now. So, you know, it's going to be pretty quick flight, and I'll set my cruising altitude at about maybe 6,000 feet, 7,000 feet, maybe not even, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the plane ready to go. Get the doors closed and, you know, remove the chocks and the stands and pitot covers and things like that. And we will get it started. Alright, so let's close the doors right now. Let's do that. Alright. Doors are all closed. So now let's come over here, and we're going to get everything off. Just remove them all. I can remove all of these before flight always. I sometimes forget to do that. All right, now let's go ahead and get our batteries on, things like that. Okay, so external power just from right to left. All right, and beacon light, we'll put that on, and these can stay off for now. All right, and let's get our avionics on. Now the runway at Cat Cay, if you ever flown there before, rather in real life or in flight sim, you will know that it's not a very long runway. It's fairly short. Okay, so it's going to be interesting because I've never flown a plane this size over there before, not once. It's usually really small planes that I fly over there, you know. So yeah, that's going to be kind of interesting to see how well I can do on landing this thing. But you know, at the same time, the Trislander is pretty good at landing and taking off on short fields. It's somewhat of a STOL aircraft, kind of, I guess, you know, but I don't know if it's totally considered that, but it's good at doing that. It can do that, all right? So I'm not going to worry too much. Let's open these throttles just a little bit. I'm going to get ready to start up, all right? And now let's make sure our fuel selectors are all right and they look good. Okay, and we'll get up. Let's do the rear engine first, and rear auxiliary pump on. And let's start the rear engine first. All right, let's do that now. Clear prop. All right, starting rear engine. All right, it's alive. You can see the RPMs. All right, so now let's go ahead and start port engine. Oh, we have, wait, hold on. We have a cutoff. Something, I must have forgot something. Let's do that again, okay? So, yeah, you noticed the engine shut off, so let's do that again. I'm not sure what caused that, but give it a little throttle, maybe open the throttle a little bit more. Okay. Check out the tail. Notice how the sun is shining on, like, through some of the clouds right there, and reflecting. I mean, through the trees. The tree right here. Look at this. So that sun is shining on the tail from through this tree. And the detail on that. You notice how when I first, well, you can't see it too much now, but I was looking at it right when we came outside. You just saw that. All right, so I think that center engine is good. Let's turn the pump off. I'll sometimes forget it, and if you forget, guess what it'll do? Shut off. Okay, port engine. Open it up, throttle up some. Starboard engine. Okay, starboard engine looks like a good start. My trim is already adjusted for takeoff, as I've done moments ago. Alright, so I think we have a good start on our engines. It looks like we're running well. So let's go ahead now and turn our pumps off. And we're going to get ready to head on over to Cat Cay. There you go, you can see it again. Look at this. That's like the shadow of the trees. The tree behind me here. And that is some really impressive detail. I mean, that really looks cool. I think it kind of went away early because maybe a cloud got in front of it or something, but that is just really cool. Alright, so little details like that, and you have to notice and you have to appreciate those little details. Alright, so let's see. Let's do a couple of things here first. Let's see. Let's set the altitude at about 6,000 maybe. That'll work. Transponder, we're gonna put that on. All right, and let's get our switches on here too. I usually turn all these on. You know, some of them are inoperable, but you know, we'll turn it on for added realism. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get to taxiing. Altimeter is set. But before we do that, let's see if we can, like this, but what we want to do is automated weather. That's okay.
07 Foxtrot Alpha automated weather observation 0500 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition. Few clouds at 2,000 feet. Temperature 28C. 2.26C. Altimeter 3006.
Okay, so you know the wind is calm. So if I want to take off at runway 05, I could just go right back over here to my right at the end of the runway and take off, rather than taxi all the way down there to, you know, runway 13. That's a little ways. Even though I probably won't use that whole runway, we're still going to do it like this. All right, so let's select the runway, and we're going to do runway 5. Now let's taxi.
07 Foxtrot Alpha traffic. Gold Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 929er is taxiing to runway 5. 07 Foxtrot Alpha traffic.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and just minimize this and drag it up to the top right while things ready. Parking brake. Where is the parking brake on this aircraft? Here it is. I sometimes forget, but no big deal. It's not like something that if you forget, you're going to have problems, you know. I might have to crank my RPMs up a little bit higher if I need to. And I'll make sure to close this window so it's not quite as loud in here. And this is going to be a nice sunrise flight. I really think it will be. As long as I can pull the landing off okay, you know. I notice if you put the RPMs a little bit too high on this aircraft, it gets to be going pretty quickly, you know, on taxiing, so you don't want it to do that. Alright. But I could crank it up to about 30. So about a third throttle there. And I'm gonna just kind of stay to the left here, do my turn around. Notice it already is getting a little quick. And all I did was just go up to 30% there on those throttles, so just a little under a third. Alright, we're gonna just kind of park right here and get ready. And let's close our window. Alright. This is perfect time to be taking off. Nice calm day, man. The water's gonna be like really smooth. Alright. So let's go ahead and announce takeoff. We are going to be departing east.
07 Foxtrot Alpha traffic. Gulf Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 9er29er. Taking off runway 5. Departure to the east. 07 Foxtrot Alpha traffic.
All right. So let's go ahead and kind of work that left throttle a little more. Help me make this turn. And with this plane, I do have to watch out because if you throttle back too much, guess what'll happen? The engines will quit on you, so you don't want that, you know. All right, let's put the parking brake on. Let's get our throttles lined back up a little bit more. Full RPMs. And at this point, fasten your seatbelts and prepare for departure. Let's get on over to Cat Cay. It's so nice when you have calm winds to take off. And it lifts right off, no trouble whatsoever. Look at that. Now you can see that sunrise over the Atlantic. And no landing gear to worry about. Retracting, so we're not worried about that. And we're going to be flying right into sunrise. To Miami approach. Request flight following.
Miami approach. Gulf Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 9er29er is type Britten-Norman Trislander. 2 miles northeast.
Look at that. You're almost flying directly into the sunrise
flight following.
when you take off from here and head over to Cat Cay.
Gulf Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 9er29er Miami approach. Squawk 0602.
Okay. Acknowledge squawk code.
Squawk 0602.
And
Gulf
now
Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 9er29er.
I'm going to go ahead and get my autopilot on.
Gulf Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 9er29er. Radar contact 3 miles northeast of 07 Foxtrot Alpha, 1,800 feet. Altimeter 3006.
Okay, vertical speed. That looks good. We'll climb up to 6,000 feet. I guess maybe not that high, but I'll see how it goes.
Roger. Gulf Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 9er29er.
And I have plenty of fuel because I have both of the reserve tanks. You can see totally full, so I can always switch them over if I need to, but that should be enough to get us over to Cat Cay. come out just a little bit more here. The message is just gonna tell me to set my course to 083, which I could do. Okay. Just in case I need to have it that way. If I want to just switch the heading real quick, I can do that. But we are right on course. I'm continue climbing at about 1,000 feet a minute here. Yep, 1,000 feet a minute. That'll work. We had 4,000 feet, and trying to remember exactly. I think it's right here. I think there's one that'll tell me exactly how much further I have to my waypoint. Right here. So we have 49.4 nautical miles. Like I said, it's just a short flight. And I'm pretty familiar with Cat Cay Airport, so as far as, approach and everything, I shouldn't have any problem with that. It's just going to be landing this. It's going to be interesting to see. But, hey, it's calm. There's no wind. So it shouldn't be too difficult. If I can pull it off, this is the time to do it. This is live weather. I always fly live weather unless, I'm trying to get good visuals and the weather's really bad. And I might change it some, but I always will state if I change it or not. Now, this isn't live time because it's just after midnight where I'm at here. So, and over there right now, it's about 1:15 a.m. in the morning. So, all right, I'm going to continue climbing up to 6,000 feet, and I will come back as I get closer to Cat Cay. Okay, so I've been cruising along at about 6,000 feet, and you can see now we're just about 11 minutes away, 25.2 nautical miles out still. So I'm going to go ahead and start my descent shortly, and I've been cruising at about 120 knots here, and roughly about 22, 23 RPMs on each engine. And you can see I have enough fuel to go to Cat Cay without doing any transfer from the reserve tanks. Alright, so you can see Cat Cay slowly coming into view up there. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch this over, and I'm going to start the descent. Okay, so I'm going to go down to about 3,000 feet, and if I do it at a vertical speed at 1,000 feet a minute, that means in 3 minutes I'll be at 3,000 feet. So we can kind of do a more shallow descent, maybe about 700. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's do that now. And I'm going to slow down some. Make sure I keep my speed manageable. 3,000 feet will still give me a decent visual of the runway. So yeah, it's been a nice cruise. I haven't saw any ships or anything, or boats out here. A lot of times I do, but on this flight I haven't saw any. So there have been a little bit of clouds off and on, but not much. Just below. So I'm going to pull up this EFB and we'll take a look. I'm not going to do this exact approach here. I'm going to come in. I'm planning to come in on runway 13, and when I land, I'm going to get up. We'll do a little bit of walking around. Now, the nice surprise in this flight, just in case you've never saw it before, is going to be some third-party scenery that I had got in Flight Sim 2020, and that scenery does work well in 2024. Even though the default scenery for Cat Cay in 2024 was definitely improved over 2020. The enhanced third-party payware add-on I got, which you can get from the marketplace, it's still a lot nicer. It's a must-have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my turn over to the north a little bit shortly. Yeah, if you fly to this airport at all, you're definitely going to want that scenery. It just makes it so much nicer. Alright, so let's do a turn and just slightly to the north. Alright. And we're going to switch to heading. All I'm going to do is get a visual. There's no need to do any kind of a approach or anything, and because I'm just going to do a visual approach on it, not just an IFR or anything like that. We got plenty good enough visibility here, so I'm going to be able to come right on in, hopefully, and land. Now, my only question is this aircraft landing here. Even though I've flown this plane a good bit, I've never flown it into Cat Cay. And you know what? It does look like the weather is kind of deteriorating a little bit up north, huh? Got like probably some darker clouds moving in. Just going to be nothing but a visual approach, and we're still descending, just not as fast as I normally do, because I'm descending a little ways out here. So even though right now I am currently only 6.5 minutes out, less than 15 miles, it's going to be a little longer because I'm kind of going, I'm starting my approach from the, from the west here to come in on runway 13. And so we actually could go ahead maybe and pull that up, tune the traffic, select runway 13, and let's announce a full stop landing. We can announce our position. It's been kind of quiet. The ATC has been pretty quiet, I've never heard anything, but it called it up, but for some reason never heard it. But alright, so and we are going to be turning back to the east shortly. I'm going to keep it at 3,000 feet, but I'm going to kind of slow down a little bit more. But let's go with the RPMs here. It's a cruise ship here, and you can kind of see Cat Cay. Now, what you're going to notice is you'll see it even more as we get closer. I believe ahead is South Bimini. This is South Bimini. So it looks like it's really close when you're up here, but I mean, it kind of is. I don't really know exactly how far away, but it's not that far from Cat Cay. It's just a little short hop to the north. All right, and that's another place I fly quite often. A good flight would be like with this Trislander, or the other one, the regular Islander, is to go from Ocean Reef Club, land at Cat Cay, do another hop over to South Bimini, and fly west to land into Fort Lauderdale. Because I tell you what, that'll be a nice approach, especially if you kind of do it, if you want to do it a little different, do it in the evening, because as you're flying from South Bimini back on into Fort Lauderdale, you have that nice sunset over the water rather than a sunrise. Let's make sure our speed ain't getting too low. And it is. Okay, so let's kind of get that up there more. Because I pulled my RPMs back a good bit, so I know exactly how this runway lines up, so it's not going to be a problem. It's right on this side, and I've been here so many times came in from the west. Just going to turn to the east once I get up here, and just going to follow right along the shore. Get my altitude. Once I'm at the far west end of this island, I'm going to get my altitude down to about 1,500, maybe 2,000 at most. So we're going to go ahead and start setting that now. Let's do it. Let's meet it about halfway. How about 1,700 feet? And I'm not going to start that descent just yet, though. That turn yet, you know. So all of this is basically Cat Cay. Now, you can't see it too good right now because of the reflections on the water and things like that. But you can see it coming into view better now than before. But once I make that turn, you're going to start seeing a lot more. And when I land, I'm going to get out. We're going to walk around, take a little look around. You know, I'll show you some of the, you know, this add-on scenery, this paid scenery, because there was so much left to be desired, especially default Flight Sim 2020. Man, it was hardly anything out here, and it was quite disappointing, you know. But once I added this to 2020, it was a lot better. In 24, I did look at this default in 24, and it does look a lot better in 24 default, but still not up to this add-on scenery because it adds so much more. It's so much more accurate. You get the marina and everything. All right, let's do that. Oh, you can see there clearly is some weather moving in from the north. So thankfully we're not going to be getting into that. We'll be landing before that happens. All right, so we're about to switch off the autopilot and take the plane any minute now. As soon as I see Cat Cay right here out of my starboard side window, we're going to make that turn. That means me looking from this direction. We might get some rain. Alright, now let's go ahead and do the turn. I'm going to do the turn just regular. Let's go ahead and make that turn. And then I'm going to kind of cut off the autopilot. Let's go ahead and we're going to start descending more. Let's go ahead and try to get down now to 1,700. So the runway is right here, right there. So you can see we're pretty close right now at this point. So let's try to get that increased, and we are going to slow down because we're going far too quick right now, or too fast, because I want to get some flaps in and things like that. I'm going to announce my position again.
Mike Yankee, Charlie traffic. Gulf Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 929er, 7 miles northwest, 2,000.
The most we can descend on autopilot is 1,000 feet.
One tree. Mike Yankee, Charlie traffic.
Don't want to go back too far. Shut that engine off. Definitely not. I'm kind of not too comfortable with my altitude right now. So let's get off our autopilot. We can totally cut that off now. Speed is okay. I was just a little bit higher than what I wanted to be, but it looks like it's not going to be a problem. I've got it to slow down nice here, so let's keep an eye on our speed for sure, because you know the speed's going to be dropping quite a bit, because I'm dropping in some flaps shortly. It's right there, and this is such a short runway, so I hope I don't mess this flight up. All right, so let's see. We close enough for our final.
Mike Yankee Charlie traffic. Gulf Coast Sierra Charlie Kilo 929er is on final. Runway 1 tree. To land. Mike Yankee Charlie traffic.
Dropping in some flaps. There we go on full flaps. You know, it's not really the hardest aircraft to fly because you do have enough to get the plane slowed down pretty decently. But once you drop the flaps, you're going to create a lot of drag. Probably could have waited on those flaps a little while, but see, it's coming in. You know, well, I mean, there isn't any wind, so it's coming in pretty good. I'm kind of happy with this descent. I'm gonna try to keep it right about there. Man, look at the water. Check this out. Look at this site. We don't want to miss all of that. And there's a lighthouse there. That is from the added scenery. Okay. Just really nice out here. Try to get it to slow down a little bit more. I think I'm going too fast. Let's get it. So you do have to kind of work these RPMs too to kind of get this plane to slow down enough. I'm trying to keep it at about 80. Man, I think the speed might be dropping a little too much. Hopefully not. You have to be slow to get it landed. Oh man, I think I'm going a little too faster than what I wanted to go. We'll see. I think it's going to work. I'm going to use a lot of the runway though. So hey, I don't think that was a bad landing. Pretty decent, you know? Alright. Let's try to get a taxi a little bit now. Here, without going into the sand too much. Let's retract that flaps. Yeah, see how much nicer this looks. If you haven't been here at all in Flight Sim, I mean, I can tell you it looks so much nicer. And I think something's changed with that latest update. I'm noticing the sand or something, you know? Maybe sand textures are changed on the latest update here for Flight Sim 24. I don't know. Unless it looks a little different because of the, you know, the sunset maybe. I'm not going to go over by him, but we're going to stop right here. Okay. Let's pull the brakes. All right, now let's go ahead and cut our engines off. Pull it back all the way. Close the throttles. Get things in place here. Well, first, I'm going to go ahead and cut off. Let's get this in place. Everything in place. And we're going to cut off switches, which means all of them. And I'll take a quick walk around here, and we will take a look at some of Cat Cay, and you can see some of the. I mean, I did a full video on this. If you look back a little ways, I can link in here in the video description, but you can take a good look around, and I'll talk about it. And I'll also have, like, I think a couple of shorts too for the area. All right, let's go ahead and hey, let's open the window back up. Let's hop out, and welcome to Cat Cay, Bahamas. Now, a lot of this, what you're seeing right here, is the payware scenery. Because if you go here, the worst it is when you come here and default Flight Sim 2020. That's not good at all. So, you know, if you fly here, but you don't have this add-on, just don't expect to see it out like this. Welcome to Cat Cay. All right, so let's take a walk, and you can see these nice yachts docked out here. And this entire marina is basically missing in the default scenery. It's another sign right here. Welcome to Cat Cay. So it is pretty nice compared to how it was. So yeah, you can kind of walk along the dock right here. At least in Flight Sim 24, you can take some, you know, actual walk around instead of just flying a drone around. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed the flight. Kind of getting like where I'm falling off of there. I can tell you what, it sure is pretty. All right, so thanks for watching. And I will leave it here. And until next time, bye for now.